welcome to the very first episode of The Q Note. My name is Zoey, and this is...
Hi, I'm Roma.
And we will be hosting your shows going forward, talking all things queer music, UK, I guess, and beyond maybe. Who knows? So, because this is the first episode, just wanted to talk a little bit about ourselves. We are both queer artists in our own right, and in any right, I suppose.
Yeah.
What we would like to do is have a little interview every episode. So we thought we'd do a little self-interview, I guess, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to interview you.
So you're interviewing me first, okay.
Yeah, and what I'll try and do is answer some of the questions for myself, so that you don't have to interview me at the end of it as well.
So everyone's not hearing the same question, just back and forth.
So, Roma Lane, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you live now, and what brought you to where you are.
So I grew up in a town called Wigan. It's sort of, you get Manchester and Liverpool, and you just sort of go like right in the middle, and it's there. I moved to Cardiff for university and decided that I'm never ever leaving.
What drew you to Cardiff then?
The distance from Wigan.
The distance from Wigan. Is Wigan that much of a joyous place?
See, the thing, I loved it. Not great if you're trans. It's great if you're cis.
Yeah.
And I loved it there. Like, I still go back sometimes, like, to see old friends and stuff like that, but I don't want to live there.
I wonder if there's any places in the world which are great for queer people, but not so great for cis people. Or if just cis people are like fine everywhere.
They're fine everywhere.
Yeah,
They're just,
aren't they?
yeah.
It's like it's like a free pass, isn't it? No matter where you are. Interesting. So tell us a little bit about your queer story. Your personal queer journey.
So I knew I was in some way not cishet from like a really youngish age. I didn't think much of it at the time, and it's just like, you know, when you get older and you just think like, oh, that was a sign. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was bi in like my early teens, like just like as like puberty started, and then the trans stuff started, was just creeping in, because I was just like, I don't like what's happening.
Yeah, I get that.
Don't like the changes that are coming in.
I was the same. I remember sitting in the garden with Mum, and I was like going through puberty, and I was just crying. I was like, my hands are just too big. Why are they getting so big? This doesn't feel right.
See, my hands didn't grow that much. My issue was that facial hair just was so dark so quickly.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I don't like this. I'm not a fan of this. And then, obviously, voice dropped like a stone at some point. I went through puberty sort of between year 9 and year 10, just in that summer.
Oh, just one summer?
Just all... like, I grew about half a foot. Went from being, like, the shortest kid in the year to being just above average.
Oh, wow.
Just over a summer. And I was just, oh, this isn't fun.
Oh, I hate that. Like, and I found a lot of the feelings that I was going through puberty as well. It's just not... It didn't feel right. And I know exactly what you mean. And you just can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, why doesn't this feel right? And everyone tries to persuade you that...
Like, no, everyone feels like this.
It's a normal thing. Yeah, exactly. Everyone goes through this. And it's like, no, well, maybe they don't.
No.
And then you get to a point later in life and you're like, that's why I felt that way. And no, everybody does not feel the same way.
Yeah. It's because they keep thinking like, well, everyone feels a bit uncomfortable during puberty, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
But also... It's a different uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a little more to it than that.
It's not like I'm uncomfortable now, but I'll be fine once I get where I'm going. It's I know where this is going, and I don't want that. Exactly.
I completely understand that. I think for me, like, my queer awareness coming of age, I guess, was only a few years ago, and it's so crazy being in your almost 40s and realising that you've lived an entire life as a lie, and then how empowering it is to finally be yourself.
Yeah.
I think everyone should come to some kind of realization that the life that they're living is not true, because I think that a lot of people, be they queer or not, go through life, especially those early years in the teens and 20s, where they're like, oh, I have to conform to this because that is what people expect of me, and then they get to an age, in their 30s or whatever, and they're like, maybe I didn't have to be like that. Maybe I didn't have to do that because somebody said I should have, and they become more themselves.
Yeah, because I mean, you get it with like jobs as well, because you'll get people who like, they'll stick with a job for like 15 years because when they were 13, 14, school was like, you have to choose what you do for the rest of your life now. And then they just burn out and they're like, actually, you know what, I want to do something fun now that I actually enjoy, and just completely
When you were in
change.
school, what job did you think, or did the school kind of say that you should be doing?
They all thought I was going to be like some like fucking mega scientist.
Oh wow, that's optimistic. I love that. I think I wanted to.
I was one of those gifted kids.
Okay, no, that's really cool. I think I was as well. Strangely enough.
Yeah, it just meant that I'm autistic.
I always wanted to train to be an architect, and I was persuaded that by my school, it's a very encouraging school, that being an architect takes far too long. You're better off working in a shop. I was like, oh, thanks. And I was like top of my class in maths and science and stuff like that, so I could have done it, but
Yeah.
no, never mind. So, what we're here for, queer music. Tell us a little bit about your musical journey and whether or not it has changed during your queerness and your more self-awareness, I suppose.
Well, the first instrument I ever like learned how to play was the trumpet. And I had to change to a different instrument because my family's dog was very scared of it because it was so loud.
What was the dog's name?
Archie.
Archie. Oh, poor Archie.
Yeah, he'd just run into another room whenever I practiced. So I changed from trumpet to guitar. Because it's a little bit quieter. So I was like learning like sort of classical guitar through primary school. And then I got to high school and I was like, this isn't cool. Can I have an electric one, please? So I started playing that, and it was just, you know how everyone, when they first get an electric guitar and it's just all Green Day.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
Bit of a generational difference, but...
Yeah, well, I think it depends on, I suppose, as well, who starts teaching you some things on guitar, if you do have anyone.
Yeah.
Because like, I think the people who were teaching me were already older, much older. Like they were in their 50s or something when I was in my teens. And I just had like classic rock, like Smoke on the Water and stuff like that.
Everyone loves Smoke on the Water.
But like that's the one song that you should never play in a music shop. Just saying.
Oh, I can think of a few.
I did want to learn Stairway though.
That was literally the next one I was going to say. It's like in Wayne's World where they got the sign that just says no stairway.
No stairway. Stairway's great. It's a good song. So you went from classical guitar to electric guitar, playing lots of Green Day.
Yeah. So just always like, because all the Green Day songs are just really easy to learn because it's just all
Like
power
three
chords.
chords.
Yeah. Obviously, as like Arctic Monkeys got more popular as well, because that was all while I was at school, started messing about like playing Arctic Monkeys songs in the in like the practice rooms and music lessons, because there was only a handful of people that I actually played instruments in the music class at school, so we all got left to our own devices while everyone else was learning like your standard keyboard stuff.
Okay.
And they just put everyone who knew instruments just in the practice rooms out of the way and just be like, oh, you just entertain yourselves.
Nice.
So we just sort of
just jammed.
Yeah, just if more than one of us knew a song, then
that's what you're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when do you think your like first band was?
So the first like sort of band scenario was for like a school performance for like, I think it was some assembly or something, and me, a guy on bass, and a guy on drums played an Arctic Monkey song from the Ritz to the Rubble. Which, when I think about it, it's quite weird that they let us play a song about like getting like kicked out of a queue for a nightclub when we were 14.
Well, I mean, what did I get up to when I was 14?
And then with a different drummer playing Holiday by Green Day at the same one. And then after high school, I saw that this venue near to where I was from was doing this sort of festival in the summer, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. So I sent them an email just to like see what it'd be like to like organise to get myself in there.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh yeah, you can have a slot, sure, yeah. Just you got half an hour, and I was like, oh cool, now I need
Songs to play.
and a band. So I had like some songs. They weren't great, but I had them. And so I was just sending messages to my friends like, oh, you know how you wanted to be in a band? Should we do that like now? Like, right, I've got a gig. Should we?
And how long did you have to prepare for it?
We had about a month.
Okay. I mean, it's not a lot of time to put a band together
not a lot.
and have a 30-minute set, but
No, we did three originals and 3 covers. I can't remember most of what the covers were. I remember that one of them was The Pretender,
okay.
which I'm not gonna lie.
As in Foo Fighters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. My voice was not up to that at 15.
Yeah, mine isn't now. I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah, I hit like a sweet spot with songs like that when I was like 18.
Okay.
When I just did not care about
What would do to your throat?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I went through like a weird, like not new metal, like metalcore phase in like when I was like 17, 18, like
Okay.
of Mice and Men. If you've ever listened to Mice and Men, just very screamy,
Okay.
and it just absolutely wrecked
I bet.
my throat.
I bet. So you're not into that anymore then?
I can listen to it occasionally. I just know that I shouldn't try and sing along.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to a bit of that kind of backing. A bit like the Automatic or something, you know? That's cool. Okay. So did the gig go well?
Yeah, it went really well. We even, like, on the Facebook page for the venue, like, after, like, when they posted about, like, the end of the festival and every year, there was, like, a couple of comments that specifically mentioned us. I'm getting blinded.
The sun's coming.
Oh my god, look at the camera.
Just to say, this is our first one, and we're working through a lot of the issues with lighting, sound, positioning. I'm thinking that this positioning is probably not great visually, but we'll work it out.
It's not bad, I got an armrest.
You got an armrest? I'm looking at getting a new sofa, which is slightly bigger, and I want to get like a Chesterfield, like an old used one, obviously.
Oh, I don't
it's
know.
like a big leather, like, you know, the buttony, like classic-y kind of looking sofa things. Yeah, one of those. And I think if we can get a setup in the living room on the sofa, that might be better than this kind of weird angle where I'm like sideways and stuff. But there we are.
What was I saying
we'll work
before I
through.
got blinded? Oh yeah. So there was a few comments that like mentioned us like by name as like being really good that weekend, and I was just really confused as to how
How it had happened.
because I remember like I'll occasionally see like pictures from it, and I'm just like stood there. I look so terrified. Like we all look really uncomfortable like on stage because that was the first time we'd actually been like on a stage rather than just at the front of an assembly hall.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a good experience though,
Yeah.
and it didn't put you off.
No, it didn't. So that band sort of turned into like what I've played with for years until, well, technically, I'm probably technically still in the band. It's just that I don't live in Wigan anymore. But I've been saying to them that if I was to spend like any extended amount of time in Wigan, that we'd do another gig.
Okay.
Because the last one was in 2019, and then obviously
It's not that long ago. It was 4 years ago, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the pandemic.
Yeah, true. So, your solo music career,
Yes.
what have you been up to?
So I'm going to preface this by saying that I have a really awful habit of starting something, getting it about 75% finished, and then starting something else.
I'm the same. I understand.
So when I released Rent Free earlier this year, I intended...
Go check it out.
I intended to release another one a month after, and then an acoustic EP about now-ish, I guess.
Okay. And
I have basically finished the song that was supposed to come out a month after Rent Free. I just never pressed the button because
you need to push that button.
I've not gotten around to doing artwork for it. That's the problem. The acoustic EP, I got halfway through recording that and then got bored. Not because the music's bad, but because I struggle to motivate myself for extended periods of time.
Sometimes the process of writing and recording is really strenuous. I've been there. Like, the album that I've actually got coming out in 10 days is my second album since 2020. And the songs have been recorded and sat waiting for me to maybe add more songs for about 8 months. So I understand.
I always get like when I leave like too much time between like different bits of recording for the same thing, I always get like nervous that it's going to somehow sound like it was done at a different time.
Yeah, very true.
Even though it would have been done in the same room with the exact same equipment.
But then maybe your skill set has increased, so as you work your way through the album or the EP or whatever, the songs just improve with your skill.
That's mostly just due to like guitar practice, because I don't get that in the band.
No, true.
Because like every time I pick up a guitar, I'm like, these strings are too close together. The frets are too small.
On a 6-string.
Yeah.
So a bit of context. Roma and I are in a band together called Fenix. That's Fenix.
Fenix.
It's not a double N. But anyway, and it's a rock metal band, and I sing, and Roma plays bass. So that's why, going back to 6-string, it's a little bit smaller.
I was the guitarist when I joined.
You were the guitarist, indeed. However, due to lots of different things, your position has now been upgraded, maybe?
Yeah, let's say upgraded.
I think so. I think you've got a lot more freedom to be more expressive.
Yeah.
Interestingly. Because you often think of a bassist as being, they just beat the same as the kick drum, essentially holding the backbone of the song together. But you add flair to it, and I'm like, well, okay, if someone else was doing the bass, they probably wouldn't be doing that. So
it's because you say like, play the bass notes, and I just sort of go, no.
Well, no. I mean, I think there's only ever been one song that I'm like, it kind of needs to just ride on that, on the A or whatever it is. But yeah.
I've written a song. It's got a really cool riff. Like, cool. Yeah, let's go. What do I play? A. You play A. The whole riff.
I'm sorry. I'll write more like bass heavy riff songs. What about if I do like a song that's got a really badass bass riff and it just has one chord in it for
two guitarists?
Yeah. Maybe you and Francis can riff off and Tim can just go
I'm sure he'd love that.
He would. No, he wouldn't. But give him some like air guitar stuff to do. I don't know. So, Rent Free. Where can people check out Rent Free?
Everywhere, as far as I'm aware. Every like music place, not like everywhere.
Like streaming, like Apple Music, Amazon Music, iTunes, and
I ticked every box on the thing when I was distributing it, because
like, it goes to some random like providers in Taiwan and stuff, and you're like, why not?
I love when I look at the stats and it's just like some like random person from somewhere that like, where have they come across this?
Exactly. What have they thought of it? Like, are they going to have a second listen? Or maybe not. No. So, I was going to ask about the band, but we've already talked a little bit about that. Yeah. Okay. Playing in a band compared to playing solo, how do you find that?
I feel a lot more like comfortable on the stage when it's like with the band. Like when I'm on my own, I don't know really what to do because
Yeah.
there's no one to interact with on the stage, so I have to interact with the people in front, and sometimes I don't know those.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a band on the stage, then I know everyone who's on the stage.
It's hard when they're unresponsive as well.
Yeah.
Because they've never seen you before. They're just like staring at you, staring you down, and you're like, ah. But yeah, no, I get that. That's why I drink half a bottle of wine before I go on. Not advocating alcoholism, but do what you have to do to get you through.
I think that's exactly advocating alcoholism.
No, not at
as
all.
A sentence.
Never. Please drink sensibly.
Or don't drink.
Or
That's
don't
also
drink.
an option.
Don't drink. Well, you need to drink something. Water. Or juice. Or milkshake. Apparently it brings all the boys to the yard, so...
It's not good for singing, though.
It's not, no. I learned that quite early on. Nobody taught me, but I was like, any dairy products on a day of singing is a no-go.
I was told that like dairy products were bad for singing when I was 3/4 of the way through a massive latte just before a performance exam. And another singer from the class was like, "Oh yeah, you really should avoid dairy products just before singing." I'm like, "Oh,
thanks.
cool, yeah."
Thanks, mate. Yeah,
I'll just finish this because it costs too much.
Yeah, I think that's why. Like, I only. Well, to be fair, if I go out and have a coffee that I've bought, I will have coconut milk in it. But whenever I have coffee at home, it's black. Just and I'd been to black coffee like years ago.
I always just drink black coffee at home because I got into the habit because I didn't like milk in general.
Yeah.
And the only times that I would have milk would be in coffee, and if I just bought milk for coffee, I would end up chucking out half a bottle of milk.
Yeah.
So I'll just drink black coffee. I'll just do that. That's fine.
My mum's like that. So my mum doesn't drink milk in anything. And whenever she knows she's got someone coming around to visit, she'll go to the shop and buy a bottle of milk, a pint of milk, or whatever it is, just in case they want a cup of tea or coffee, I guess. And she literally uses it at one time, and then nobody visits for ages. So she has to throw it all away. Like, what a waste. What a waste of milk. Not that I want the milk, but still. There we are. Don't know how we got into milk and coffee. Oh yeah, singing. So, Rent Free can be found everywhere. Go check it out on all major streaming platforms, and maybe minor ones, I don't know. Maybe you've got a copy of it somewhere on an MP3 player behind your sofa. Who knows? Do you have any other projects you're working on at the moment?
That I'm working on, not really. Just outside of like my stuff and
On the band?
practicing for Sunday.
Oh yeah. So Sunday, we're going to try and do some little local gig announcements. So I was just looking at the screen, making sure it's still recording then. I thought it'd stop
I was going
recording.
to say, it's quite bold assuming that this is going to be uploaded by Sunday.
Oh yeah. Well, on Sunday, maybe just gone, probably just gone. On Sunday the 5th of November, we are going to be, or we would have just played.
And it was great.
It was so good. You
fantastic.
missed out.
Everyone was there.
If you weren't there, you missed out, honestly. Oh, incredible show. Fuel at Cardiff. At Cardiff? In Cardiff. At Fuel in Cardiff. That makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you want to come and check us out at a gig because we're all right, we're all right. Other than that, though, we are playing on the 6th of December in Le Pub in Newport.
Yeah.
Newport, it's a hell of a town. Or city now, actually. There we are. So yeah, come and check out Fenix. Go and check out Roma's solo music. Also, go and check out from the 11th of November, my solo album, because it's all right. It's going to be called Those Who Pull the Strings by Zoey, because I'm like Cher.
You made it sound like by Zoey as part of the title.
No. Maybe that should have been the title. It'd be easier to find. Yeah, I'm like Cher, so I'm not like Zoe Allen. I'm just Zoey. One day, everyone will speak about Zoey, and they'll be like, "Oh, do you mean the singer?" Maybe not.
Instead of trying to search the word Zoey
And
on
then
Spotify.
finding nothing. Yeah, or finding everything else other than me. It's like when you search Fenix, everything else other than us.
I searched Smoke and Mirrors.
So if you're looking for Fenix songs on streaming platforms, you need to search song titles. So the best one is Smoke and Mirrors because it's easier to find, I guess.
To be fair, Game of Broken Hearts is quite a long title.
That's another good one.
There's not others.
So why not just search Fenix, Game of Broken Hearts, or Fenix, Smoke and Mirrors, or Fenix, Fade Away, because then you'll find one of them, hopefully, and then maybe the rest. Okay, so next time we're going to be speaking to someone else, hopefully, but that is still to be confirmed. So I'm just going to leave that as that. Is there anything else in the news or in the queer world, queer music world, that we think we should mention? Go and listen to more queer music, because we need queer music in the charts more mainstreamly.
And to be fair, like there is like queer music that gets into the charts. It's just always by the same
three people.
Yeah.
And it's always like dance or bit poppy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's never like actual indie guitar based music. That needs to change. We're going to change that.
Just us.
Just as those individually. The new duo, Zooma, Roey. Anyway, check all the things out. I'll put all the links in the comments and stuff, or whatever it is in the description thing down there, wherever it is, over there. I don't know. Outside, who cares? And we will speak to you real soon on the Q-Note. Bye.
Bye-bye.